The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown Show presented by Hoop Ball. My name is Adrian Benjamins and I'm joined by Neil Rochelani, and this episode is brought to you by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company. Get some delicious coffee, taste the Kona difference. Head over to hawaiianisles.com. You can also find their amazing coffee on Amazon. Neil, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Kind of a medium slate of games. I kind of like the size. I think we got like 6 games tonight. Kind of a nice. Usually it's like feast or famine. So I like this week. Every day is like 6 games. So
I like that too, but.
Yeah.
And are you seeing what I'm seeing? I'm seeing like every game so far has been a blowout.
I know. That has been really bizarre. Yeah.
What's up with that?
I know. I don't know. Like some of these games I thought would be really good, like Denver Golden State. I was thinking that was going to be a great basketball game. In Denver, Golden State just blew the doors off of them. Philadelphia, Minnesota. I should put my life savings on this one. Jimmy Butler. I knew Philadelphia was going to crush Minnesota. Even this OKC Atlanta wasn't, and Atlanta wins. Nuts. Anyway, they're all like ridiculously one-sided. We could probably go through these pretty quickly. Yeah. I didn't see any big news either on injury front. It looks like Cousins is on pace to come back at some point soon. I think as early as this weekend. If I'm correct. And then LeBron is a little more active in practice, so hopefully he'll be back soon as well. We'll have to see.
Yeah, the Lakers have not looked good, so they could really use LeBron. Like, who couldn't use the best player in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. I think it's my turn to lead. I believe you steered the ship last night, so my turn. I will start with the Phoenix Suns and the Indiana Pacers. As we said, lots of blowouts tonight. This one, I guess it's not too surprising that the Pacers blew out the Suns. Pacers have been playing really well. Suns are maybe one of the worst teams in the NBA. 131-97. I'm going to check out what happened with the Suns. I'm going to start with TJ Warren, who had 18 points, a steal, and assists. 3 boards, 1 3, 7 of 15 shooting from the field, 3 of 3 from the line. DeAndre Ayton with 14 points and 8 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 7 of 16 from the field, 0 of 2 from the line. Devin Booker, really nice to see this guy back, but not his best game here tonight. 8 points on 4 of 12 shooting, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 of 12 from the field. DeAnthony Melton, man, 3 points, 2 blocks, and a steal, 8 assists. Even though the points weren't there, love the defensive contribution. 2 blocks, a steal, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. He gave you a 3 tonight. I just don't really trust this guy night to night with this team getting healthy, so not too much there. Same thing goes with Bridges. In 30 minutes, he only took 3 shots for 7 points, 2 steals and assists, 7 rebounds. The guy who's been playing really well on this team, Neil, Kelly Oubre, in 24 minutes off the bench, had 16 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 3, 7 of 13 from the field, 1 of 6 from the line. Feel like in deeper leagues, he needs to be owned if he isn't already. Eli Okobo with 4 points in 21 minutes. We don't trust him. Rashawn Holmes with a really nice game in just 19 limited minutes. 13 points, a block, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line. Neil, I sound like a broken record when I say if this guy could just get starter-type minutes, he would be a beast, right? Like, that's just his story all year long. Josh Jackson, who's been playing really well, moved to the bench, only 19 minutes, saw 8 points, 3 assists, 4 boards. Not too much else to talk about on the bench. Neil, what do you think of the Suns?
Yeah, this was interesting with Booker coming back. Obviously, these guys are going to take a hit. I've been I was interested in seeing how, especially Kelly Oubre, he's the one I'm watching, how would he be affected by Booker's return? Like you said, I'm not really big on Melton. anymore. Or even Mikal Bridges is a little bit better over the last month on a per game basis because of his stat set. But he's been hard for me to own. But it's Oubre that I think might have staying power here with the return of Booker. He got coming off the bench 24 minutes. I think it would have been higher if it wasn't a blowout. He put up 13 shots. He's been shooting very well in this stretch and getting rebounds, over 4 rebounds a game, getting close to a block and a steal a game. So I think he's gonna be okay. I might reach out and grab him in deeper leagues. I'm not sure he'll get to 12 team value. I think though it's worth the chance now. Before I was concerned about Booker's impact, but tonight seemed okay. That's really it for me. I'm kind of, like you said, away from Melton, away from Bridges, although I think he can be owned. Holmes, I have him in one league, so I just need percentages. I need field goal percent, and he does that so well, along with blocks. So that's it for me on the Suns. Anything else before I head over to
one last thought from me, Neil? I read an interesting thing on Twitter. I believe it was Kurt Heelan from NBC posted that the Mavericks are actively trying to move Dennis Smith Jr. The two likely teams that were interested were the Phoenix Suns and the Orlando Magic. So interesting thing to keep an eye on going into the trade deadline, which I believe the trade deadline's like 3 weeks away. So man, Neil, Dennis Smith Jr. on this Phoenix Suns team could be interesting. You know, that's the one position that they kind of need some help in is point guard. So it's an interesting situation.
Yeah, I wonder how it'll work out. Unfortunately, his percentages won't change that much, but he could be more valuable out there. Certainly a much bigger fish in a smaller pond. All right, let's go on to Indiana side. Tonight we'll talk about Oladipo. I want to start with him, but he had a very quiet night. Just 2 of 11 shooting, 8 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 of 5 from the free throw line, a 3-pointer, 2 steals, no blocks. Solid night from their wings here. Bojan Bogdanovic, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists on 7 of 12 shooting, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 3-pointers, no defensive stats. Collison, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists on 4 of 8 shooting, 5 of 5 from the free throw line, 2 3-pointers, 3 steals. So Collison has really rebounded this year and slowly climbing his way into the top 100. I have him as 101 right now. I don't have the patience, so I dropped him a long time ago. Kind of regretting it, but kind of not. Anyway, Thaddeus Young had a solid game, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists on 5 of 7 shooting, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, a steal and a block. And the Miles Turner, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 7 of 11 shooting, 3 of 5 from the free throw line, 2 steals, 2 blocks, a 3-pointer. This guy is starting to – he's continuing to get better. And his fantasy line is showing that. Corey Joseph off the bench, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 of 7 shooting, 2 3-pointers. Domantas Sabonis, kind of a quiet night for him, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 5 of 9 shooting, a steal, and a block. McDermott gets 18 minutes. Tyreek Evans, in 15 minutes, scored 20 points. He took 8 free throws, 7 of 8 from the line, 6 of 8 from the field, 4 rebounds, a steal, no blocks. Clearly, this game was way out of hand, and he just took advantage of it. So I would not read too much into that. It's kind of the usual suspects that we talk about. Thaddeus Young's holding on to value at 100. Bojan's at 91st. These guys are all looking like good low-end starters. So if you have them, hold on to them. What are your thoughts here on the Pacers?
Man, Pacers looking really good. Currently the number 3 team in the Eastern Conference, and they're rolling right now, man. So I don't know. We kind of know who the main guys are on this team with Oladipo. Bojan Bogdanovic has been scoring the ball all season long. Thaddeus Young is playing much better than I expected. I thought maybe they would make moves at the trade deadline. There was a rumor that they could move Collison or Joseph to open up more minutes for Holiday, who's their point guard of the future. But Neil, with this team and the number 3 seed, I don't really think they're going to make any moves now. If anything, maybe add something more to their bench to just kind of make them stronger or something like that. So a very good team reality-wise and fantasy-wise too. Really good team. All right, I'm going to move over to the next game. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Philly 76ers. Another blowout. They're all blowouts tonight. 149-107. The Sixers getting the victory here. I don't know, maybe a little revenge game for Jimmy Butler. What do you think, Neil?
He's actually pretty calm and collected. I don't think he cared about this at all.
It's a good game here for the Sixers. I am going to take a look at the Timberwolves side. I'm going to start with Karl Anthony Towns. That was a little bit quiet tonight. Maybe Joel Embiid was a handful for him. 13 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 threes, 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line. We expect more from Cat, and we know he's capable of a lot more, so I'm sure he'll bounce back in the next one. Andrew Wiggins with 12 points, 2 steals and a block, 4 rebounds, 4 of 14 from the field, 4 of 6 from the line. Jeff Teague, happy to see this guy. He had a pretty, I believe it was an ankle, or he re-injured his ankle injury in the last one. I expected him to miss some games. Pretty happy that he just bounced back right away and played in this one. 11 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 1 rebound, 4 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line. Let's hope that he is ready to go and is over that ankle issue. Josh Okogie, we're not counting on him or trusting him at all. 6 points, 1 steal, 1 assist. Did get the start. He's filling in for Covington, who still doesn't have a return date, although I would expect him back. I'm hoping in like a week or so. I might be really optimistic there by saying that. That's not official, but I'm really hoping that Covington comes back soon. Taj Gibson, he got 18 minutes off the bench. Again, this was a blowout, so, maybe these low minutes for guys like Okogie and Gibson was due to the blowout factor. 10 points for Gibson, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 assist, 5 rebounds, 3 of 5 from the field, 4 of 4 from the line. Off the bench, they got a nice game. Derrick Rose with 15 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Saric, within 23 minutes, got 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Neil, I was really optimistic that maybe Saric could be worth owning with the coaching change. It hasn't happened, man. Him and Gibson are really canceling each other out. And then one more important note, Tyus Jones left this game with a nasty ankle injury. He had to be helped off the court, helped to the locker room. I believe they're calling it a high ankle sprain. I'd expect him to miss a little bit of time here. Usually high ankle sprains is more of a week-to-week thing, not a day-to-day thing. So keep an eye on him. Neil, what do you think of the Timberwolves?
Yeah, I'm just seeing Tyus Jones estimated not until February 5th. So.
Oh, yowzes.
Yeah, so 3 weeks, it looks like, at least the minimum. See how that works. Like you said, Covington, gosh, he's also not estimated till the 5th either, another 3 weeks. So,
from what I'm really? Saying,
yeah.
I didn't know he was out that long.
I know. It's longer than I expected as well.
That's surprising.
I know.
Wow.
Unless this information is incorrect. So, both those guys out for a while. We'll see that impacts the backcourt. I guess more time for Derrick Rose, but also Okogie might be in line for a little bit more minutes. So maybe you can stream him with the absence of Jones. Maybe he takes up some of those minutes, an extra few minutes. Probably more of a deeper league play, though, than a standard league play. I agree with Saric. I thought he might come into play here with the coaching change. It's not looking like it's going to be any different than before. Pretty much a share of minutes, and so neither one is worth owning in standard leagues. Jeff Teague came back after just one injury, so it's good to see him playing well if you have him. And like you said, this was a game that got out of hand early. Towns he's been on fire recently. Tonight he just got crushed going up against Embiid. So I kind of chalk it up to that. Most centers do get crushed against Embiid. Anything else you want to add before I move on to the Butler?
I just want to note, I believe they also played last night. So not only was it a blowout, they're coming off back-to-back. If I was the coach of this team, as soon as this game got out of hand, I would pull my starters. No need to have them out there off of a back-to-back. So that likely played into the low minutes as well.
Okay, on the Philadelphia side, I'm going to start with the aforementioned Joel Embiid, 27 minutes, 31 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists on 10 of 17 shooting, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 4 3-pointers, and a block. He has just been phenomenal this year. I have him as the number 9 person in 8 category leagues. That's just great. Way exceeded my expectations. And he's been completely healthy all year. I think he's played in every single game. Maybe he missed one or two. Let's go with Butler. 19 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 of 10 from the field, 3 3-pointers, 2 steals, and a block. Ben Simmons, almost another triple-double, 20 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists on 7 of 10 shooting, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, a steal, 3 blocks, 3 turnovers. Wilson Chandler, he had a pretty good line for him tonight. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 of 7 shooting, 4 3-pointers, and a block. Let's go to J.J. Redick, 15 points on 5 of 11 shooting, 3 assists, no rebounds, 3 3-pointers, no defensive stats, 2 for 2 from the line. And then a lot of this bench got a lot of run because of the blowout. Landry Shamet, 22 minutes, 12, 3 and 4 on 5 of 13 shooting, 2 3-pointers, a steal, and a block. T.J. McConnell got 21 minutes, 8, 2 and 8. With a steal, a block, no 3-pointers. Muscala, 19 minutes. Jonah Bolden, who I'm not really familiar with, 16 minutes. 14. He had a nice game, 14, 4 and 1. Went for 5 to 6 from the field. Corey Brewer, who I didn't even know was still in the league. God, that's surprising. 8 minutes he got off the bench. That's really it. Nothing new here. Wilson Chandler still outside the top 200 despite having this solid game, so I'm not touching him. So no news from me, no new information from this team tonight. Any thoughts on the 76ers?
Man, the Sixers just signed Corey Brewer to a 10-day contract, I think just earlier today. So really crazy to see him just get thrown into the fire tonight with 8 minutes. And of course, I wouldn't touch him anywhere in any league, but just kind of nice to see him play. And not too much else for me to add. We know who the studs are on this team. The blowout factor makes it kind of hard to read too much into some of these bench guys who had nice games like Bolden and Shamet. So, yeah, I'm not going to read too much into it. All right, going to move over. Let's keep rolling. Another blowout. And, Neil, this one went the wrong way that I thought it was going to go. 126 to 142, the Hawks over the Thunder. And I'm going to look over to the Thunder side. I'm going to start with Jeremy Grant, who had a pretty good game, 21 points. These defensive stats are fantastic, man. 2 blocks, 3 steals, 5 rebounds, 9 of 14 from the field, 3 of 5 from the line. Occasionally, he can hurt you from the free throw line. Steven Adams with a nice game, 16 points, 2 steals, 7 boards, a perfect 7 of 7 from the field, 2 of 5 from the line. Paul George is having a fantastic season. Currently in 9-cat right now, a season average, Paul George is sitting as the player number 4 in 9 category leagues. Fantastic. 24 points for him. 5 steals tonight. 3 assists, 8 boards, 5 of 12 from 3-point range, 6 of 18 from the field, 7 of 7 from the line. Russell Westbrook, this is a nice game from him as well. 31 points, 5 steals, man. Him and Paul George together had 10 steals tonight. That is huge. And they still got blown out, man. Crazy stuff. 11 assists from Russ, 6 boards, 10 of 21 from the field, 11 of 14 from the line. Ferguson didn't do much in a start. 23 minutes, he put up 4 points. Off the bench, they got a beautiful game from Schroeder. 21 points, a steal, 6 assists, 3 boards, 3 of 5 from downtown, 6 of 15 from the field, a perfect 6 of 6 from the line. Great game from him. Not too much else from anyone else off this bench. Also, we're not really looking or counting on anyone else off the bench. Neil, what do you think of the OKC Thunder?
Yeah, they're one of these teams that's very good, but they tend to play down to their competition sometimes. And tonight was one of those nights where did not see a loss coming from them, especially one that was so one-sided. Jeremy Grant has continued to impress me. Obviously, he is gone in all my leagues, or I tried to pick him up, but it was too late. I didn't think he was going to be this good. I was worried about his free throw percentage, but it's not too bad. It's 70% on the year. And the rest of his stats are great. Like you said, the defensive stats are phenomenal. Dennis Schroeder, still just outside. I mean, he's been kind of on the borderline, so tonight was a good night for him. He's 123 in 8 cat leagues. And that's really it. I think if you want to pick him up, or if he's out there, he's worth streaming, or worth owning, I should say. He's going to kind of hover at this low-end point guard value, I believe. And Paul George, number 1 fantasy player on this team. So I guess it's not too surprising. Anything else before I go on to the Atlanta Hawks?
Nope.
All right, Taurean Prince is back for second game, but is still coming off the bench, so not starting yet. I'm going to start, though, with Trae Young, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists. Solid night from him, 8 of 17 shooting. We've talked about this before. His assists have really translated right away, and now his shooting is coming around a bit. 4 for 9 from the three-point land, 4 or 5 from the charity stripe, no steals, no blocks, did have 7 turnovers. Kevin Huerter, a guy you and I both like down the stretch, a solid game from him here. 6 of 10 shooting, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 3-pointers. Phenomenal line there for a three-point specialist, and I think he's a little more than that as well. John Collins, 12 of 14 shooting. I really wish I had this guy on my team. 26 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 of 3 from the line. Still trying to find a defensive stat, though. No steals, no blocks. DeAndre Bembry, I thought he would not have a great game in this matchup. I was completely wrong. 16 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists on 7 of 9 shooting, 2 3-pointers, 2 steals. I've been streaming him in one league, and I'm not ready to cut the bait just yet. I was thinking Taurean Prince would get in there and make him irrelevant. Hasn't happened yet. We'll see. Next game is the one. 22 minutes for Amari Spellman. 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists on 4 or 6 shooting. 1 of 2 from the free throw line, a 3-pointer, and a block. Off the bench, Alex Len having a big night. 24 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 9 of 14 shooting. 1 3-pointer, 1 steal, 2 blocks. I think you can stream him as long as Dedmon's out for big man statistics. And that's really it in terms of fantasy relevancy tonight. I'll mention Taurean Prince played 13 minutes, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 of 4 shooting, 1 3-pointer, 1 steal, 0 blocks. I'm assuming Taurean Prince is going to ramp up back to starting minutes and start again, but maybe I'm surprised the 13 minutes were just there. I thought in a blowout he might be getting more than like 18 or 20. So perhaps it's going to take a while. Hopefully that we don't have a Justin Holiday situation on our hands where he doesn't get a lot of minutes, but I guess wait and see. Any thoughts on Taurean Prince or anything else in Atlanta?
Yeah, I am hearing that besides recovering from that ankle injury that he's coming off of, he was also experiencing somewhat of an illness tonight. So that may have contributed to the 13 minutes. And I think he's going to be great for the second half of the season. I'm sure his minutes will keep ramping up game to game until he's getting starter type minutes. And Neil, some interesting buzz that Jeremy Lin is on the block. And there's a lot of teams interested. Also, a lot of chatter that Kent Bazemore could get moved. So look for the Hawks to maybe move those two guys. They're in full tank mode for Zion or to get a really high draft pick in this upcoming draft. You and I, Neil, we talk constantly about how much we love Kevin Huerter, who's looked really good in this game. So, man, for the second half of the season, I really like Huerter. Even Bembry, who had a fantastic game tonight, could be worth And I love your take on Alex Len. If Dedmon is going to miss a game or miss time, as long as Dedmon's not starting, I feel pretty good about streaming Alex Len. All right, man. Any closing thoughts before I move on to the next one?
Yeah, you're right. They're going to unload a couple guys here, which will free up time for some of these lesser-known players, and they're going to get a lot of run in the second half. I'm surprised they even tried to win tonight. So we'll see when they continue to start losing.
Yeah, they must be pretty disappointed to get a win. Like, their fan base must be so conflicted because they actually kind of want to lose to get a high draft pick. Their fan base gotta also be pretty pissed because Luka Doncic is the truth, Neil. And all right, let's move on. Let's keep rolling here. Next one I got up, the Bucks, a big win over the Heat. Not too surprising. The Bucks are fantastic, and the Heat are pretty inconsistent. 124-86. I am going to check out what went on with the Miami Heat. Justice Winslow, man, this guy has been playing point guard, and he's been pretty good. 19 points to go along with 2 blocks, 5 assists, 5 boards, 3 threes, on 8 of 15 shooting. Hassan Whiteside, pretty nice game from him as well. 19 points with 8 boards and assists, a block, 8 of 10 from the field, 3 of 5 from the line. The big letdown tonight was probably most definitely Josh Richardson. 6 points, no defensive stats, 5 assists, 3 rebounds on 3 of 11 shooting. So not a great game from him. James Johnson put up 0 points in 21 minutes. Did have 6 rebounds and 2 blocks, but really disappointing here. Again, the blowout factor may have contributed to some of the low minutes here. Magruder getting 17 minutes to start, only had 4 points. We don't trust him. Tyler Johnson, someone I was streaming of like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I dumped them just because his team is so overly crowded. 7 points for him off the bench. The bench probably seeing some extended run here. Bam Adebayo getting 23 minutes. He had 2 points, 5 boards, 2 assists. Dwayne Wade, 9 points in 22 minutes. Derrick Jones Jr., a guy that I really wish was on a different team getting more usage because I think he's really talented. But in this role, man, we just cannot trust him. He only got 7 points in 18 minutes off the bench. Dion Waiters, Wayne Ellington, Kelly Olynyk off the bench. We don't trust any of these guys. Low end lines here. Neil, this team is so crowded, man. They're still waiting to get Goran Dragic back in this lineup, man. I kind of know how you feel about the Heat, but let me know, man. What do you think about the Heat?
Well, I think the Heat. You know what? I think they're one of these teams that they've been consistently pretty good the last few seasons. I think they might go into tank mode this year. I think they may find themselves out of it, and they might just go into rebuilding mode. Get rid of some of their assets. Let Wade play as many minutes as he wants in his farewell tour, and we may have a lot of games like this. And for that reason, I think, gobbled up Derrick Jones on one of my teams. I think he might be okay in the second half of the season. We'll see. I could be completely wrong, but I think this team is going to lose enough games that they might throw in the towel at some point in this month or next month. That's my only thought. I think guys like Adebayo might be relevant second half of the season. Derrick Jones Jr., or I should say the last third of the season after the trade deadline. And we'll see if I'm right. I think this is a team that's a candidate for tanking. And then Winslow, I think, will continue to play. What do you think of that take? Hot? Medium? Warm?
I do like that take, Neil, but I do think it'll take maybe a little longer than only because they're right now currently ranked number 6. I think as soon as I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. So I agree with you. So the moment they get kind of knocked out of that race, I agree with you, man. I think they could start tanking. Man, they have so many players that do the same thing and that have the same role. They should really be active at this trade deadline to make a move, man. They have a glut of wing guys that, man, they could package a couple guys and try. I mean, I would try to make a move if I was the Miami Heat. But I do agree with you. I think they will be tanking at some point of this season. I just think it'll probably maybe be next month or so. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right. We'll see on the trade deadline if they make a move for any of these players. That'll be obviously a key indication of whether or not they're going to go in that direction. It's just my way of trying to be create some sort of buzz, I guess. Anyway, move on to Milwaukee side. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals. I didn't mention the player, but you know who it is. Giannis. I still can't pronounce his last name properly, so I'm not going to do it. Just played 25 minutes. 4 of 9 from the field, 4 of 8 from the free throw line. That has been his one downfall this year for his fantasy rankings. In 8 cat leagues, if he could shoot free throws better, he would be in the top 5. Right now, number 6. Another solid game from Eric Bledsoe, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 7 of 15 shooting, 2 3-pointers, 2 steals, a block, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Malcolm Brogdon continues to be solid on the wing. Only had to play 23 minutes tonight because of the blowout. 16 points, 2 rebounds, 7 of 13 shooting, 1 for 2 from the free throw line, a 3-pointer, a steal, no blocks. Brook Lopez, 11 points, 3 rebounds, no assists, 4 of 7 from the field, 3 3-pointers, and 3 blocks. You love to see that combination. Chris Middleton, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists on 4 of 11 shooting, 2 of 3 from the 3-point land, no steals, no blocks. So a lot of run here from the bench. Sterling Brown gets 22 minutes, goes for 13, 1 and 6, 5 of 10 shooting, 3 3-pointers, a steal. Another guy that is on my future watch list, DJ Wilson, having a nice game here. Sorry, I lost my screen there for a second. 8 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 of 8 shooting, and a block. Tony Snell, 21 minutes, 10, 3 and 2. George Hill gets 17 minutes here. Goes for 7 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. What can I say about the Bucks? Except when they blow teams out, they're going to have these low nights. You know, that's the one bad thing about really being good and kind of like a Golden State situation. You crush somebody and your starters don't play in the fourth quarter. So other than that, though, everything pretty much seems to be holding form. So no changes here. Do you own DJ Wilson or Sterling Brown anywhere in your keeper leagues or deeper leagues? I was wondering how you feel about those guys.
You know what? Surprisingly not. I do really like DJ Wilson. I love his potential. I think in 2 or 3 years from now, I think he could be a solid starter in this league and definitely a guy worth owning in deep dynasty leagues for sure. Maybe the only one thing that's holding him back is this team is so deep, man. So that's why I say it could take 2 or 3 seasons for now for him to really break through. But I do love his potential. And then lastly, just want to note, I'm really happy to see Eric Bledsoe playing well. Had a rough patch there a few weeks ago and has been playing pretty good lately, which has been great to see. The Milwaukee Bucks, fantastic team, man. They need to just stay healthy because they can make a deep run in the postseason.
Yeah, the East is going to be fun this year. The East is going to be fun to watch. They've got the top 3 for sure, and then Philadelphia I think will find a way to put together. Maybe they'll get some more depth as a trade deadline, but all 4 of those teams, I think, could come out of there. So they could find a way to come out of that conference.
Man, I agree with you. At least I thought at the beginning of the year, the Celtics were just going to be the team to beat. They're currently ranked number 5 right now. And if the playoffs started right now, they would be playing Philly. And that would be, there would be, I think all around, not even just in the East or West, throughout the whole NBA, playoffs this year, Neil, is going to be bonkers. We're going to see some We're going to see some exciting matchups in the playoffs, man.
The entire West is phenomenal. And all those matches are good. I would love to see even like the losers bracket in the West. The teams that don't make the playoffs for something.
Definitely. Good stuff. Okay, another game on the docket. Let's move over. The Warriors beating up on the Nuggets, 142-111. Neil, I was most excited for this game tonight because the battle of the two top teams in the Western Conference, man, this was surprising to me. I thought this would be much closer. Just as you said at the beginning of the show, I'm going to look over on the Warriors side. I'm going to start with Draymond Green, who, even though the scoring wasn't there, was only 1 of 5 from the field for 4 points, had 13 assists tonight to go along with 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 1-3. It's nice he can contribute in other areas if the scoring's not happening. Kevin Durant, who has just been fantastic. Currently for 9 category leagues, Kevin Durant is the number 3 player on the season. So having a fantastic year. 27 points, a steal, a block, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 11 of 15 from the field, 5 of 7 from downtown tonight from him. That's just outstanding, man. Steph Curry was amazing tonight, amazing every night. 31 points from him, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 8 of 13 from three-point range, 10 of 18 from the field, a perfect 3 of 3 from the line. That's outstanding. Klay Thompson showed up tonight as well. 31 points from him, 3 steals and assists, 3 rebounds, 5 of 8 from him. Man, they were, as usual, bombing away from downtown tonight. 5 of 8 for Klay Thompson from three-point range. 13 of 19 from the field. Great game from him. Looney got the start at center, but, we can't trust him. He did have actually a pretty decent game. 9 points, 12 boards, 4 assists, but I wouldn't trust him tonight. Off the bench, they got a nice game from Cook, who had 11 points in 14 minutes. Andre Iguodala had 8 points in 21 minutes. I hope you guys aren't counting on any of these bench guys. Really interested to see what DeMarcus Cousins is going to look like when he returns, how he fits in with this team. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how this all pans out. Neil, what do you think of the Warriors?
Yeah, that's probably the most interesting thought about that. How did these lines get affected, these stat sets get affected with DeMarcus Cousins, and what does he put up? Everything else is pretty much known. We know Curry and Durant are, first-round values, top of the first-round values. Klay Thompson, good to see him climbing back up. His shooting struggles were not there tonight. 5 3-pointers. Draymond Green, like you said, had a very solid game despite the lack of shooting. I think this was also very much a statement game to Denver, saying the records don't matter. We're the Kings. We're the Warriors, I should say. We're the top of the league still, and you got to keep that in mind. So we're just going to crush you. Yeah, that's going to be the one thing. Like, do you sell Klay Thompson or do you sell Draymond Green? I guess the more appropriate question. When Cousins is coming back, thinking he might go down in value, or do you think it might actually help his value? I'm of the inclination it's going to hurt his value a little bit. We'll see. I don't think it's going to really affect. I mean, Curry and Durant might get affected by points, might come down a little bit, but other than that, I don't think it'll be affected too much. Thompson, I think, will be okay. Dreaming to take a little bit of a hit. So that's what I'm thinking about. What's Cousins' impact? Other than that, it's hard to really. Other than that, I don't really think anything changes much on this outside the top 4. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think it's a real interesting thought because, okay, historically, DeMarcus Cousins is a very high usage type player. He takes a lot of shots. Now, why I'm not worried though, Neil, is because he's coming off this Achilles injury, we're going to see him play limited minutes. And on top of that, he's coming onto a team that has been together for a long time. They've won multiple championships. This is not his team, right? So it's not like he's going to come in and just demand to be the guy, the alpha guy. He's coming in on a team that already has all these guys that are established. So I am really not worried about the value of Klay Thompson or Draymond Green. I think they're still going to be really good. And from a reality standpoint, man, I love that he can slide into their starting center spot. Man, Neil, they got 5. They could potentially start 5 all-star caliber players at one time. That's outstanding, man. It's crazy stuff.
Well, from a drama perspective, I kind of want him to come in and demand the ball. and see how it all, and see some chaos out west. But I think you're right. I think he knows his role, or I think he's going to be much more in tune with where he fits in this year instead of yelling at guys in the locker room is what I expect. And there's going to be no issues about, on teams before, these teams are always losing teams, right? Or they were losing as much as they were winning. So he could argue a lot. That's not the case here. So, all right, I'll go on to the Denver side. This was a rough game, like you said, like we talked about, just getting blown out here. Jokic, I was watching, at least following this game, I should say. I got in foul trouble early, played 23 minutes total, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists on 6 of 12 shooting. He did go 5 of 5 from the free throw line, no defensive stats, no three-pointers. A really nice, they put Malik Beasley in the starting lineup for Gary Harris, who's still out. He had a phenomenal game in terms of scoring. 22 points, 8 of 14 shooting, 1 rebound, no assists, 6 3-pointers. So nice on that line. Paul Millsap, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 of 8 shooting, and a steal. Torrey Craig starting also with Will Barton slowly getting back into game shape. 23 minutes for Craig, 4 points, 2 rebounds, no assists on 2 of 3 shooting, 2 steals, and a block. Jamal Murray, starting point guard, 31 minutes, 21 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists on 8 of 16 shooting, 4 of 7 from the free throw line, and a block. Will Barton played 23 minutes off the bench, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 of 11 from the field, 3 3-pointers, and a block. Mason Plumlee gets 20 minutes, 9, 5, and 6 on 3 of 7 shooting, and a steal. Hernan Gomez, 16 minutes, Monte Morris, 14, Trey Lyles, 9. I guess the one thing I'm watching here, Barton's basically been picked up everywhere. He was stashed in most of my leagues and has already been picked up. He had a great start to the season in his first couple games, and that was it, though. Very small sample. I'm expecting him in the starting lineup again. I think he's going to finish somewhere, 50 just to kind of be safe, maybe closer to 60 or 70. Do you have any thoughts on where Barton might end up?
Yeah, I like your take. I think he'll finish right around there. And tonight was tonight was very encouraging. His line tonight in 23 minutes, he filled it up, man. 4 assists with 8 rebounds, had 3 threes tonight. This is what we come to expect from Will Barton, and I think it's just maybe another week away before this guy really starts rolling. So, I really love Will Barton's outlook for the second half of the season. As you said, Neil, he started the season pretty hot. I'd expect him to get back to that level in the near future. And I was a little disappointed that Gary Harris didn't play in this one because he had just come back recently from injury. So my fingers are crossed, Neil, that Gary Harris didn't suffer any kind of injury or re-injury. Let's hope that this was just precautionary and that he's back because, man, I really like this Nuggets team, and I'm really we haven't even seen them at full strength, and they've been playing well. So I cannot wait to see them at 100%. What do you think? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, the Harris thing does. He has a hamstring injury, so we know those can linger. We'll see how long he's out for, and when he comes back, how many minutes he plays. It's been frustrating. He's such a great basketball player and a great fantasy asset. So, but he's been having injuries almost every season. So hopefully, when he's back, he'll be back for good this year and not have another recurring injury. So that's about it. I think that's all the games that have ended so far. I think you get to go and hang out with your healthy family back there.
Yes, I'm going to take care of some kids, try to manage some fevers. My 2-year-old daughter has got a fever right now and a bad runny nose. So it's a handful, man. She's not happy right now. So I'm going to go take care of that. All right, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Neil will be back for one more game. We will see you guys tomorrow. Hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Adrian Benjamins. Neil is at Ball with Neil. We love hearing from you guys. Hit us up. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
One final game for the evening. We have the Chicago Bulls at the Los Angeles Lakers. The Bulls fall 100 to 107. Rough night if you enjoy watching good basketball. Anyway, let's get to the statistics. Led by Lauri Markkanen, at least in terms of points. 6 of 15 shooting, 17 points, 4 rebounds, no assists on 6 of 15. As I said, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 3-pointers, a steal, and a block. Zach LaVine, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 of 11 shooting. 1 of 2 from the free throw line, a 3-pointer. No defensive stats. Wendell Carter Jr., 6 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 of 9 shooting, a steal, and a block. Chris Dunn, 6, 5, and 4. 2 of 7 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line, a steal, and 2 blocks. Off the bench, I should mention Chandler Hutchinson started as well. 27 minutes, 12 points, 5 rebounds, no assists, 5 of 9 shooting, 2 steals, no blocks. Shaquille Harrison, 25 minutes, 10, 3, and 0 on 3 of 10 shooting. 1 steal, 1 block. Ryan Arcidiacono, 19 minutes, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 of 5 shooting. And a block, 2 steals, sort of there towards the end of the game. A couple of guys to note off the bench. Jabari Parker now getting some minutes, 17 minutes tonight. 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 of 10 shooting. 2 of 4 from the free throw line, 2 3-pointers, 2 steals. Bobby Portis, 2 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists on horrendous night of shooting. 1 of 10 from the field. No defensive stats for him as well. The Bulls just don't look like a team that knows how to run a half-court offense very well. At least that was my impression tonight. They've got some talented pieces, but they just don't seem. They seem to be very disjointed. A lot of just passing and then one-on-one play. Not a lot of setup for guys. So not too surprising to see them lose this game. I think that Levine's going to be okay. He's 59th. Markkanen's now 60. I'm looking at 9-cat, excuse me. I'm going to move to 8-cat. On the season, Levine's 33rd. So that is strong. It says turnovers that hurt him, so 9-cat's much worse. Chris Dunn, 64th. Markkanen, 67th. I had said priorly I thought Markkanen would be the number 1 fantasy asset on a per-game basis at 8-cat on this team. It's hard to stand by that. He has not looked as good as I thought since coming back from injury. I think also it's partly coaching. I think it's just they're not getting him the opportunities I think he can succeed in. While Levine is much better at creating a shot. Markkanen is okay at it, but he needs sort of a well-run offense that was there under Hoiberg that really set him up a lot better. So he may not climb as high as I thought. Wendell Carter Jr. still hanging on at 117 on per game basis. I think he will be okay. Parker, I'm not sure if he'll ever be 12-cat relevant. 8-cat relevant, 12-team relevant, and Bobby Portis as well. I don't think is worth owning. On the Lakers side, still without LeBron James, who is expected to return in about a week. We'll see if that holds up. Or 4 days, I should say, half a week. Tonight, led by Lonzo Ball, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 8 of 17 shooting, 3 3-pointers, 2 steals. A solid game from him. Did have 4 turnovers. Brandon Ingram played 40 minutes, put up 16 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists on 7 of 13 shooting, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, and a steal. Kyle Kuzma, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists on 6 of 15 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line, a 3-pointer. No defensive stats, and 5 turnovers. Tyson Chandler starts at center. Bit of a change here. 26 minutes, 8, 5, and 2. 3 of 3 from the free throw line. 2 of 4, from the field. 2 of 4 from the free throw line, and a block. Caldwell Pope, 31 minutes, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He starts as well, 4 of 11 from the field, 1 3-pointer, 2 steals. Josh Hart, now coming off the bench, 22 minutes, 2 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. Nothing much else. And then JaVale McGee, since he is now, or at least as of today, came off the bench. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 of 10. Shooting, did have 3 blocks. I mentioned earlier in the earlier podcast that I had McGee in a games cap league. I am no longer starting him. I am waiting until LeBron comes back and seeing if that chemistry is still there. He started off the season hot, and I think a big part of that was having LeBron James on the floor next to him. So I'm not going to worry too much. He dropped out of the starting lineup. I think he might get back in it with LeBron. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So keep an eye on that. Josh Hart has not been able to produce when starting, so clearly he's not worth owning when he's the 6th-man role. KCP, I'm not sure if this can continue. The 17 points is all he really did, along with the 2 steals. So I think with LeBron's return imminent, there's no reason to go out and get him. Same with Tyson Chandler, even in a 26-minute role, did not do much from a NBA stat set. So I would say hold on to McGee. Don't worry about him, at least. Not yet. Don't panic yet. Tyson Chandler, don't worry about the start. Caldwell Pope, don't worry about the start. Josh Hart, maybe next year. We'll see. This year, I don't think he's even worth a stash at all for the end of the season. And that's really it on the Lakers and tonight's box score breakdown. Again, we're sponsored by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee. You can visit their website at hawaiianisles.com or find their products on amazon.com. You can hit me up on Twitter. I am at ballwithneil, BALLWITHNEIL. And we will see you guys, or talk to you guys tomorrow night.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.